And welcome to the public meeting of the Halton District School Board for November the 1st, 2023. We have no private session this morning or this evening, so we are going to start right off into public. I'd like to welcome everybody who is here both in person and online, and I just need to make one quick announcement. So as many of you know, we have been having difficulty with our recording instruments at the board to have the meetings live streamed because of our system. So because of that, we are now depending on our little friend, the owl over there, to record us. The only difficulty with that is if there is the owl follows noise. So if there are any distractions, good or bad, from the gallery, I am going to have to stop the meeting this evening. So just be mindful that any external, apart from clapping for the Inspire Awards, any extra noise will not be tolerated. So I just wanted to make that clear before we started. So we have trustees mostly in person, but a few online. So I'll just go through the roll call to see who is here and who is joining us from afar. Trustee Baxter.
Good evening.
Trustee Bryden.
Present.
Trustee Oliver.
Good evening, everyone.
Trustee Collard.
Good evening, everyone.
Trustee Gray.
Hi there.
Trustee Zhang.
Good evening.
Trustee Ahmed will be joining us online. Trustee Alimjanov.
Present.
Trustee Shabalin.
Good evening and present.
Vice Chair Rocha.
Present.
Trustee Amos. We're not sure. We think she's joining us in person, but hasn't arrived yet, so we will see. And I know Trustee Daniele will be back very soon. I think I have everyone. Director Ennis. Oh, sorry. Before Director Ennis starts, we also have one new face at the table, and I would like to introduce everyone to Carolina Khan, who is our new Manager of Governance Services, and it's really wonderful to have you here this evening. Now, Director Ennis.
Thank you very much, Chair Shuttleworth, and good evening, everyone. Good to be with you. We have a full slate of our senior staff here this evening to support tonight's meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And we'll start with the land acknowledgement. And tonight, Trustee Alimjanov will be reading that for us.
Halton, as we know today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Onawandram, Haudenosaunee, and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on the treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions, land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that are before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us.
Thank you very much. And I'd just like to note that Trustee Ahmed has joined us online and Trustee Amos has just entered the room. So welcome to the two of you as well. All right, so the first meeting of every month, we take that time to recognize the History and Heritage Months that have been promoted by the Ontario government. It is our practice to ensure that we're celebrating and supporting these diverse communities that exist within our Halton communities. The purpose of doing this is to celebrate the diversity and commemorate the history and recognize and pay tribute to the contributions these people have made and continue to make to the economic, political, social, and cultural fabric of Ontario society. When we do this, we try to find trustees who have personal connections to these months. And tonight we have two. So tonight, Trustee Rocha will be speaking us to about Albanian Heritage Month, and Trustee Shabalin will be speaking us about Hindu Heritage Month. So I'll pass the mic first over to Trustee Rocha.
Thank you, Chair Shuttleworth. Each year during the month of November, people of Albanian origin celebrate the Albanian Declaration of Independence, which declared Albania an independent sovereign nation on November 28, 1912. Albania also commemorates Liberation Day, which is the day that it was liberated from Nazi Germany forces on November 29, 1944. Who are some famous Albanians you may recognize? If you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, you may know the name Taidomi. If you're one of our students, you may have heard of Dua Lipa. But most notably, known around the world, Mother Teresa. To all Albanian Canadians, thank you for your contributions in building Ontario's communities. Your social, economic, political, and cultural achievements have been many. Faleminderit.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rocha. We're now going to turn the mic over to Trustee Sribalan, who will speak to us about Hindu Heritage Month.
Thank you, Chair Shuttleworth. Another significant Heritage Month to note in November is Hindu Heritage Month, recognized by the Government of Ontario in 2016. Hindu Heritage Month is a notable heritage month that recognizes the outstanding contributions of those who practice the Hindu faith in Canada's social, economic, political, and cultural fabric. Hinduism is a religion that dates back 4,000 years and is practiced by about 800,000 Canadians. As a practicer of this religion, I'm honored to share with the board about the contributions of Hindu HDSB staff and students alike, as well as across Canada, because they truly are kind-hearted individuals who've accomplished so much for our nation, whether it's through their art forms or governance. To add a personal connection, Hindu Canadians' involvements in the arts have allowed me to connect to my culture as a second-generation Canadian, where I've had the opportunity to connect with my culture through learning an Indian classical dance form, Bharatanatyam, that depicts some of these Hindu faiths and practices, and I've been doing so for the past 13 years, so I'm really grateful for that opportunity as well. Something noteworthy that I wanted to note to those in the boardroom and watching at home, that in November, one of the Hindu members' largest celebratory festivals, Diwali, is in this month. On November 12th, Diwali is celebrated by the Hindu community, falling yearly in either October or November, depending on the cycle of the moon. It's otherwise known as the Festival of Lights, and it celebrates the triumph of light over darkness, good over evil, and the human ability to overcome. It's an exciting time for members of the faith to come together with firecrackers, amazing foods, and good wishes for one another. So I just wanted to put it out there for those to wish their fellow HDSB Hindu community practitioners a happy Diwali and educate themselves further on the exciting cultural activities that I know members of my community are open to sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharina. Okay, we are now up to the agenda. Trustee Daniele, would you like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
Thank you. Yes, I would.
Thank you very much. And Trustee Zhang, would you like to second that motion?
I second.
Wonderful. Are there any objections to approving the agenda? Seeing none, the agenda is approved by unanimous consent. And in relation to our agenda this evening, are there any declarations of possible conflict of interest? Wonderful. Seeing none, that brings us up to item 2.0, which are delegations and presentations to the board. And 2.1 is the Inspire Awards, and I will pass it over to Trustee Gray, who is the chair of the Inspire Awards Committee, to lead off these presentations.
Thank you very much. An Inspire Award is given to an individual or a group that is formally or informally associated with the Halton District School Board, who support our students, their achievements, through exemplary caring, initiative, innovation, and creativity. Tonight, we're so very pleased to honor 6 individuals, one of them being a group actually, to receive this award. And in fact, we have one of the recipients with us this evening. I would like to call forward, please, Michelle Snyder from Odenawi. And Michelle, if you would be joined by Trustee Amos right up here in the middle. Michelle is an exceptional teacher who consistently goes above and beyond for her students. She welcomes challenges with open arms and strives to meet the unique needs of each and every one of her students. This year, she embraced the opportunity to support a student with special education needs in her class. She creates an inclusive environment where students feel welcome and included. Michelle builds a strong rapport with students by helping them achieve their goals through creative teaching methods. The school's vice principal has commended her for creating a classroom where every student, including the students with special needs, are included and welcomed evoking smiles all the way around. Michelle's dedication to fostering an inclusive learning environment, along with her unwavering commitment to her students' success, makes her an outstanding educator who goes the extra mile to make a difference in the lives and those that she teaches right from her heart. Michelle, congratulations. And I would invite any family member who would like to come forward to take any pictures, please do so. And there's maybe a better chance for a photo now that our, but that's okay. We've got all the photos taken that we need. Congratulations, Michelle. In addition to Michelle, there are 5 other recipients who will be receiving their awards at their respective school. Trustee Ahmed will be presenting an award to Denise Henry at P.L. Robertson Public School. Also, Mr. Ahmed will be presenting to Jamie Clayton at P.L. Robertson, and also to the food staff at Craig Kielberger. Chair Shuttleworth will be presenting to Emmett Lowry at Elsie McGill, and Emmett, I believe, is from the New Street Education Center. And finally, Trustee Daniele will be making a presentation at Milton District School Board to Lindsay Hagan. We want to congratulate all of those individuals who are receiving an Inspire Award in either this evening or in the next few days ahead. We thank you for supporting and promoting student achievement and well-being in the Halton District School Board. A special thank you goes to Susan Thrasher in the Director's Office and members of the communications team who work so hard every month to ensure trustees have all they need to assess nominees. For everyone who may be listening or watching this evening, please continue to nominate people or organizations who support our students in their achievements through exemplary caring, initiative, innovation, and creativity. The nomination form is available on the HDSB-CA website. Everyone in the HDSB community can nominate or be nominated. Families, neighbors, related organizations, staff, students, and volunteers. All nominations are gratefully received by the trustees. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Trustee Gray. All right, that brings us up to item 2.2, which is the student trustee report. So Trustee Sherbalin and Trustee Alimjanov, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, we do.
Wonderful. If you'd like to go ahead, that would be wonderful.
Awesome. Good evening to all trustees, staff, parents, and students. It is a great privilege to be speaking to all of you today as we head into our 5th meeting and now 4th month in the role of student trustees. The past 3 weeks have been eventful, and today we will be sharing some of our key updates. Starting with, of course, Senate work, which has been going on highly positively. With our executive applications being closed 4 days ago, we have a final list of over 50 potential candidates. We will now be carefully reviewing and choosing the leaders who will help us run the Senate and our subcommittees for the rest of the year. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 14th in Milton Staff Learning Center, which will mark our first in-person gathering of the year, for which Trustee Sherbalin, our staff advisors, and myself are carefully planning for. In specific, we are hoping to pass our norms and establish commitments for all members to abide by for the rest of the year.
On an exciting note, last weekend, from the 19th to the 22nd, Trustee Alimjanov and I attended the Ontario Student Trustees Association's Fall General Meeting, as previously mentioned in our last report. The two of us come back to you not only relaxed and recharged, but also with learnings we can't wait to put into our initiatives. A vital session Trustee Alimjanov and I have been working on for the past few months has been the Public Education Interest Group's engagement session, as well as the Joint Public and Catholic Regional Breakout Session, which provided an opportunity for all student trustees to develop a relationship with one another in order to have vital conversations regarding decisions made in education. I myself led a session with the Vice President of Public Education to allow public student trustees to hear about Ostia Eco's goals for public education and practice their adaptability skills in a get-to-know-you activity regarding pitching an initiative to better public education. With that, Trustee Alimjanov and other Golden Horseshoe representatives from both public and Catholic education led a session with their respective regions to break down major issues student trustees may face in governance and learn from one another. Both Trustee Alimjanov and I also joined the Curriculum and School Community Advocacy Interest Group, where we aspire to be a part of conversations to modernize the province's education to match the needs of 21st century. We held incredible discussions ranging from topics of technology to financial literacy. The conference was filled with some exciting speakers, namely to note OPSPA President Kathy Abrams to the Minister of Education Stephen Lecce, where we learned so much about provincial decision-making, especially in regards to student voice consultation and the relationship with student trustees across the province. We were also given the opportunity to ask the two open questions, where Trustee Alimjanov asked about what both OPSPA and the Ministry of Education's plans are with regards to integrating artificial intelligence into our education system, where Minister Lecce gave HTSB the opportunity to give insight regarding the work with artificial intelligence both Trustee Alimjanov and I plan to undertake.
Following the conference, we had the chance to meet with the shift team of the Halton District School Board to get their perspective on our project regarding integration of artificial intelligence within our board, which has been largely supportive. They have been working on a fair amount of research and are currently working on creating an AI-related information packages for hundreds of students participating in the I Think Challenge across the board. We are correspondingly requested to join as student consultants on this topic. Furthermore, we have received very valuable resources to help expand our understanding of ethics, various available AI-powered educational tools, and beyond academic implications like environments, which will be a very useful background knowledge for our policy work surrounding artificial intelligence.
AI work, however, isn't all Trustee Alimjanov and I have been up to. We also had the opportunity to sit down with Superintendent Fowlers, Safe School social worker Fuchs, and System Principal Cookwell regarding student representation in consult culture conversations. We learned so much from them regarding Safe Schools work already being done within our board and are excited to invite a few students to act as that student representation regarding consent culture initiatives.
And our last update, the first Student Equity Committee of the school year took place just yesterday. The meeting was led by students lead Sabrina Nadim with Assistant Principal Walker, Equity Staff Advisors, as well as both Trustee Sherbalin and I in attendance for over 20 Student Equity Committee members, with some being as young as grade 5. Many insightful conversations took place regarding the upcoming Human Rights Symposium, as well as brainstorming for other equity initiatives the team could take on to ensure student equity is at the forefront of an HTSB student's educational experience.
To end things out, we would also like to give a huge shout out to our trustee mentors, Joanna Oliver and Trustee Bryden, who we also were fortunate enough to hop on a call with. They have been unreplaced and provide us with a huge amount of guidance to develop all of our initiatives. And with that, Trustee Alimjanov and I conclude our student trustee report for this evening. As always, to those in the boardroom tonight, thank you so much for your attention and support.
Thank you very much. Can I ask if there are any questions from trustees around the table for our student trustees? Seeing none, I have one question/comment. I was really happy to hear about your interest in AI. I think it's really important that we are, facing it head on rather than ignoring it, because if we ignore it, what's going to happen? It's just going to be a cheat. But by looking at how we can use it as a tool in schools, I think it's a great way of going forward. So thank you so much for that initiative and the questions you asked of the minister. I appreciate it. Okay, thanks to our student trustees. We are now up to presentations, and we have one this evening, and it is focusing on mental health and well-being supports for staff. And I will pass the microphone over to Superintendent Taha, along with Lisa Cadal. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Madam Chair, trustees, member of the public, and senior team. Thank you so much for having us on the agenda tonight. I am very pleased to be joined by Lisa Kada for tonight's presentation. Lisa is the Manager of Human Resources with responsibilities for staff, health, and wellness. For those of you who are not familiar with the function of health and wellness, we're primarily responsible for the disability management program, return to work and attendance support. And tonight we're very excited to share with you the work that's been happening in our board for the last couple of years in support of our staff health and well-being, and by extension, support of students. And with that, without further ado, I'll turn it over to Lisa.
So first, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to present this about the initiatives we've provided and facilitated for our staff at HDSB. So on the agenda, I'll discuss the contextual background, everyone is aware, Dr. Greg Wells' programs, MindWell, mental health first aid training, other initiatives coming soon. So other initiatives we are working on and hopefully will be implementing this year and next year. And then there will be an opportunity for questions and answers. So I included the multi-year plan in here just to show that the employee health and wellness, the wellness initiatives align with the mental health and well-being pillar from the multi-year plan. So the contextual background is that claims have been on the rise, even pre-pandemic. Mental health has been becoming more and more of one of the primary reasons for accessing sick leave and seeking accommodations. Anxiety and personal stress are the top reasons staff are contacting EFAP. Personal stress, we saw that more last year and this year. Prior to that, it was more anxiety and familial or family relationship issues. Currently, anxiety, personal stress, and substance use have been increasing, and that's just not for the school board, but that's globally and within the general population. We've also, I would say last year, we started to see a spike in harassment claims, and those seem to be continuing to increase as well. With the pandemic and eco-pandemic, this highlighted the vulnerability of organizations due to the risk arising from mental health. So burnout, stress, substance misuse disorders, interpersonal conflicts, anxiety, and depression. I just want to say that risk was there prior. It just wasn't, the spotlight wasn't on it. The pandemic highlighted that this was a real risk to organizations. And post-pandemic, a lot of organizations have improved or made a more robust well-being program. Dr. Greg Wells, so hard to believe we're already into year 4 with partnering with him. It does seem to have gone by quickly. So with Greg Wells, his format is that he does virtual presentations for staff. There's an online portal where once I sign up, I can access. So on his online portal, there's different, there's podcasts, there's webinars, there's articles, access to his book, worksheets that you have access to, and you can ask questions on the online portal, which then he answers. There's also a health index questionnaire. So the first year we ran this was the ripple effect. So that was the 2020-21 school year. This looked at the pillars of sleeping, eating, moving, and thinking. And with that, it was about eliciting micro changes for more long-term habitual changes to improve well-being. And when we had the virtual presentations, they were facilitated with Greg Wells, Lisa Belanger, who was a naturopath, Robin Hanley-Defoe, who's an expert on resiliency and workplace wellness. The following year, for 2021-2022, we reran the ripple effect from September to December. That included the presentations as well. Then in January, we rolled out the Rest, Refocus, Recharge program, and there it looked at brain states. So Dr. Wells looked at how to optimize brainwave states to improve our well-being and how to function optimally. So his presentations were on the 4 different brain states. Last year, we had the focus effect. So we ran that one from September until the end of the school year. And this one looked at digital distractions. Since coming out of the pandemic, our reliance on digital technology obviously had increased just with all the virtual world. So it was how to mitigate some of these digital distractions and how to have staff function at a higher level and improve their life. So looking at work, home, and just overall health. And there, Greg did sessions on personal optimization, work optimization, and life optimization. And then this year, we are running the Summit 52. So this program looks at the different realms or pillars of, or facets, whatever term you want to use for well-being. So it looks at the individual holistically. So it looks at it from one's physical, emotional, financial, social, environmental, occupational, spiritual, and intellectual pillars, and how this impacts one's well-being. So the premise of the program is that you do it on a weekly basis, and it looks at building personal capacity. And it's a little bit different format than his other programs. So there's 8 live virtual sessions. It's facilitated both with Greg Wells and Robin Hanley-Defoe. You still have access to the online community with the coaching from Greg and Robin. The premise is to know the how and why of improving well-being, and it's done in what they call knowledge packs. So 52 knowledge packs. So it includes the learning videos, the articles, the podcasts, and then postcards for the foundation. They call them postcards, which is just a snapshot of how to elicit change. There's also reflection questions and additional resources. This year, we launched MindWell, which is an online mental well-being platform. So the platform consists of an on-demand library, which you can do cooking, exercise, mindfulness, meditation. There's also live classes for meditation, movement, mindfulness. And the other, which we're really excited about this part, it's the Take 5 Daily training. So they run them in 2 different cohorts. So first one actually starts November 6th. The next one's into the new year. And they call it mindfulness in action. So it's 5 to 10 minutes daily to build a healthier outlook on just your well-being and mental well-being. Mental health first aiders. So as you know, we brought this forward last year. So to date, we have over 300 staff trained. The majority have been trained since March 2023. We piloted it last fall, actually with our HR group, and then we ran, and then we ran some other beta sessions just to tweak and to refine the program with SBCI. We've had 9 sessions so far for staff. We ran 1 for people leaders. We have mental health first aider at all board locations except 9 locations. So that I think is great progress. We want to go to that. We did survey the staff. So being mindful that the majority of staff are only trained since March and onward. So we asked, have you implemented the information that you learned through the mental health first aid training? And we found that at their location, so 60% said yes, either partially or fully, they've implemented some of the learning. And then the other question we asked, so they had the mental health first aid learning, but we also provided them with resources. So if somebody's in a crisis, what to do, if somebody's experiencing poor mental health, and or I can be experiencing good mental health, but still looking for resources. And here we had about 55% of the staff fully or partially actually shared those resources, which we thought was a very positive impact in such a short time. So other wellness initiatives that we've been running, during the pandemic, we ran weekly virtual sessions with yoga and meditation. We have LifeSpeak, we've had that for a number of years, which is a virtual online platform with classes in nutrition, fitness, mindfulness, mental health, and resiliency training. Dr. Moon, she presented last year to different educators, and it was about burnout due to personal and professional challenges from the pandemic. So the sessions focused on how to build and maintain emotional well-being for work and a personal life. We're looking at hopefully partnering with her again this year for her to do some other sessions. We historically have, and we continue to offer our services for PD sessions. So typically we're at CUPE. In the past, we've been HEDA, we've done Halton Management Group Leadership Conference staff meetings where we speak about different topics. So it can be about wellness, it can be about nutrition, it could be about different resources that are available, and even for people leaders, what to do if you have staff members that are struggling with mental health. Okay. Last year we did the Y at Home, which was virtual access to the YMCA. So this included live fitness classes, a library of on-demand fitness videos, coaching programs, family activities, diabetes prevention, meditation, and fitness challenges. And we ran that until April 28th, 2023. We always run the first week of May, Mental Health Week, where we take each day of the week and we have a different theme. So we could have one day it's about nutrition, another day it could be about financial wellness. So we take different pillars or facets of wellness, and we do a newsletter with different resources regarding that pillar. And during the pandemic and even last year, we actually brought in speakers virtually in the evening that pertained to that pillar. So what's next? We have Tandia financial sessions, which will be rolling out. So they'll be offering sessions virtually in the evening for all staff. There'll be in-person sessions at JWS and New Street. And the content will be regarding financial hacks to save money, how to budget, and building a financial foundation. The other thing we're looking at, we just started to explore, is an anti-stigma campaign. So an anti-stigma campaign isn't just one initiative and then it's you've done your job. It's like a checklist. So there's different aspects that should be encompassed in to have an actual proper campaign. And so I just included what some of these are, just so you can see what we do have, what we need to work on or improve. So policies and procedures and disability management and attendance support, which we have. People leader training, which we have not facilitated. We have the ability to do this, but we have not started this. Workplace accommodations, we do that. Providing a psychological, healthy, and safe work environment. That, to me, is something that's always in progress. You're always striving to improve. So that isn't just once it's checked or once you feel it's checked, it's done. That's an ongoing process. So we are looking at doing psychological health and safety AP, hopefully this year as well. Mental health awareness, education standalone programs, and I'll talk about that in a bit, and board resources. So board resources include the Employee Family and Assistance Program and the other wellness initiatives that we roll out and support. The anti-stigma, the standalone programs. So the ones we're looking at or exploring is Bell Let's Talk. Another one that looks interesting, looking at possibly for next year and may require a budget ask, is the Mental Health Commission Not Myself campaign. So I need to meet with them and discuss what that looks like. The one that we're possibly looking at rolling out this year, and that would probably bring that to AC because we require AC support, it's called Elephant in the Room, and that's through the Mood Disorder Society of Canada. What that entails is that we want to roll it out to people leaders. So they have a 2-hour training. Once you've completed the training, you get this elephant, and actually the picture is the elephant that you get. And with that elephant, you're put that in your office, and what that's supposed to signal is that this is a safe place to discuss mental health and mental well-being. And the idea is then the people leader has also had the training to feel comfortable and being able to have those conversations. Thank you for your interest, and do you have any questions or answers?
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry.
Before we turn it over to Q&A, thank you so much, Lisa, for this overview of the work and the programs that we've been working on for the last 3 years. I want to stress that the work that we do is instrumental to delivering quality instruction to our students. You may have heard me say this before, a happy and healthy employee will be an employee that's reliable and engaged in coming to work and producing. So the investments that we make and the supports that this Board of Trustees and the senior team affords us is really critical to deliver quality instruction and continuity in the classroom. So we're very grateful for that. As you can see, the work is ongoing and is multifaceted. We took a different approach, and all the credit goes to Lisa Kada in terms of the vision that she had, that we focus on the physical well-being of employees, activity, diet, and those simple habits that may translate into dividends in the future. We've been, even though this is the function of human resources, we've been partnering with other departments in this board under Superintendent Barnes' leadership. So there's an intersection between staff well-being and student well-being, and we're not working alone. Which is what I'm trying to say. Also, we partnered with a few provincial bodies, Code, P-Code, OPSPA, and others to really focus on some of the initiatives that we're doing here in Halton, some of the things that are working, some of the things that aren't working, and how we can improve them. And I'm very proud to say that with Lisa's hard work and her team, we've been able to put mental health and well-being for staff on the map more so than ever. Obviously, traditionally, we focus on the well-being of students, as we should, but the well-being of staff has really taken on a new life, as it should. And I'm very proud to say that this board and this Board of Trustees and senior team has really supported us with action and words. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. So I will just open the floor. I know there's one question, but I'll just put it on the floor for anybody if they want to put their names on the speakers list for questions for Manager Cadot and Superintendent Taha. Trustee Collard, you're first.
Thank you. And thank you for this presentation. I really appreciate knowing what it is that we're doing for the staff of the HDSB. I was wondering if you could let me know where the funding comes from for this. Is any of this funding provided by the Ministry of Education specifically for the health and well-being of staff, or where would the funding be coming from if it's not?
I know for some of the Greg Wells program, I believe that came from COVID funding, but as you're aware of the funding model now, I've always had a budget, not a very robust budget, a small budget. So we try and find things that are free or low cost, and I always say this, I have no shame in always asking for discounts from organizations. I always say we're a public sector, and we don't have the funds for it. I would love to see, actually, I've been vocal about that at the provincial level, I really believe the government should be, yes, there's funding and it's important for students, but we need to support the staff, because without the staff, we can't educate and support our students. So looking for wellness coordinators or mental health lead, or whatever you want to call them, that the board should have funding for that, and board should have a budget, a more robust budget for wellness programs, because wellness programs, and I've seen them go up. I think pre-pandemic they were much cheaper, and then I think because of where organizations are going, you're looking at $100 to $250 for a program.
Are you also finding that there's a great interest in receiving this kind of wellness approach?
Yeah, it's been slow. It's slower, like for the uptake, but it takes time with the programs to build that up. But we do get employees reaching out and asking, first off, thanking for the programs that we do offer, and then reaching out to see what programs we do offer, and they even come forward with suggestions. So we've had some that would like to have courses on journaling and gratitude, but I always say it's just for us. I don't have a full FTE for it, so it's just we try and do what we can. And I would say one of the limitations is we can get the stuff going, but we can't keep it going just because I don't have the person power behind it to keep it going.
Yeah, and if I may add, so for example, the Greg Wells program this is in its fourth year. We estimate that close to 2,000 employees have signed in and out of the program at some point or another. But again, it's sustained, difficult work. It's everyday communication, and as Lisa pointed out, marketing these programs and these efforts take a lot of resources and time, and a lot of boards have the same struggles that we do in terms of finding a specific envelope for that kind of work, which there isn't per se. You're always having to find it within your broader budget. But we do the best that we can, given the circumstances.
Thank you. I think this might be something we want to ask for in our Fix the Finances Committee that we're embarking on, because you can't have a healthy classroom without a healthy teacher. Thank you.
Trustee Gray.
Thank you very much through the chair to Sari and Lisa. Thank you for the presentation, introducing us to the multiple programs, addressing many fronts, such as what has been shared with us today, the physical, emotional, financial, social, environmental, spiritual, and occupational. It's very gratifying I think, for all of us to know that this board is very much investing into this programming on behalf of our staff. My question is this: how do you measure the effectiveness of the programs that you have made decisions to have currently before you change the programs and bring others aboard? And we heard today that you are looking at other programs. What's your measurement of when you want to do that?
As far as with the measurement, we don't do proper measurements with true health promotions, right? There's a whole process you follow, including measurements. Once again, I just don't have the resources for that. If you're looking at outcomes with regards to primary, secondary, and tertiary, the tertiary we can't measure. And the only reason I say that is if I had access to the benefits and utilization rates of certain benefits, that would give me, for example, tangible data. So in the past, we had access to that because we don't anymore. So I can't measure the tertiary outcome. Primary outcome, that is harder to measure because I don't, how I am today, 20 years from now, I'm hoping with the interventions, it has mitigated my risk of developing, say, diabetes or hypertension. So that is, once again, that to measure that it's hard, and you need longer term data. The secondary interventions, you may get that in more of your absenteeism and duration of claims if somebody's off on a medical leave.
Yeah, and if I can build on that, so we would have to rely on secondary sources, measurement sources such as Have Your Say survey or census data or staff satisfaction questionnaires and surveys to assess the pulse of the organization, but we don't necessarily directly measure the satisfaction of a particular program with employees. Uptake is one of the metrics that we use, but our really baseline data would be absenteeism data, retention data, LTDI claims, sick leave claims. And that's always our guiding. We can proudly say that we're well below the provincial average in those metrics as far as rates, but nonetheless, it's still an uphill battle to remain in a good spot as far as absenteeism and sick leave claims.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Shriballin.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to offer a small comment. So I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for this amazing presentation. I know I learned a lot, and I just want to add from the student perspective from conversations Trustee Alamjanov and I have had that it seems as though having conversations surrounding staff wellness resources almost takes away, and investing in those resources takes away from the student experience. I just wanted to demystify how that isn't the case when the staff in our schools are happy and are doing well and are able to deliver a happy classroom. I've seen from our students how well that affects them and their learning. And I just wanted to reiterate that I've heard from so many of my staff in communication with them, communication with those students' experiences across the board, especially with ongoing issues of how important they really rely on wellness resources. I'm so happy to hear that our board is providing that. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. And yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, I have one. So you spoke to, and I'm just wondering, you talked about measurements and data that you have. Superintendent Tai, you spoke to the fact that you said 2,000 employees have logged in at some point in time with Greg Wells. And I'm wondering, again, coming back, it kind of brings all the questions together really, is when you're looking at that uptake of staff, how is that influencing the direction you take with programming moving forward?
As far as and it's always evolving, right? It's because if you take a static approach to health promotions, you'll only get so far. So it's looking at the interest, which is why, for example, the Y at Home, we didn't, once the contract ended, we didn't pursue it any further because the uptake wasn't there. You know, I had said to the Y as well, is I just think at that point, I know my gym is packed. So people were returning to the in-person experience and didn't want to engage in virtual exercise. So we were just, and it's really trial and error. I'm open to trying different things. We may fail, but I would rather fail than not have tried.
It's only through failing that you learn.
Yeah.
So, and then one other quick question is, you spoke of, when you had the slides, there was the one about that you had questions for the mental health first aiders. So my question to complement that is, did you question the other staff around their knowledge of who their mental health first aiders might be? Like, I'm just wondering how, and I might be out to lunch, how do people in the school know who to turn to as their mental health first aider?
So we provided them with, them being the mental health first aiders, we actually provided them with a presentation to do at their staff meetings. So they're supposed to present this at a staff meeting and to kind of go through with what a mental health first aider is. We are the mental health first aiders. So we did provide that resource to them.
Okay, thank you. That was it. Seeing no further questions, as you can tell from the questions, thank you so much for the presentation. We appreciate the information and recognize how important, as everyone seems to have echoed in this room, the mental health and safety and comfort of our staff is paramount in ensuring our kids feel that same way. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just wanted to add, I should have added this, is that where I'm seeing boards moving into this direction, and the one feedback we have been receiving provincially, and you can also echo this, is that Halton, we seem to be, and we have still a lot of work to do, but we seem to be ahead of what other boards are just starting to look into this. And I just want to say that that's one of the feedback that I have been receiving from third parties, is that they're surprised at how much we've been able to do. So I just wanted to echo that. So that's through the support of the senior team and the trustees. So thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's so great to hear that our board is being proactive in ensuring good mental health for our staff. So thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. Okay, that brings us up to items under section 3, which is our consent agenda. And we have one item for approval and several that we are just receiving the information on. So we've got the Halton District School Board minutes from October the 18th. And then for receipt of information, we have the order paper, the board report schedule, which is report number 23157, the policy and governance procedures review schedule, report number 23158, administrative procedure review schedule, report number 23159, and the approval of the minutes of Committee of the Whole meeting September 13th, 2023? Yes? Okay. I'm going to put the motion on the floor. So be it resolved that the Halton District School Board approve the consent agenda and receive the information items for November the 1st, 2023. Trustee Gray, would you like to make a motion to deal with the consent agenda?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Thank you. And Trustee Collard, would you like to second that?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any items that need to be pulled for discussion this evening? Wonderful. Seeing none. Are there any objections to approving the consent agenda? Seeing none, the consent agenda is approved by unanimous consent. We had no private session this evening, so that brings us up to our action items for this evening. Starting off with item 4.2.1, voting provisions for board reports, Appendix C, revised, report number 23154, submitted by Vice Chair Rocha, and I'll pass it over to her to explain before I read the motion.
All right, yes, through you, Chair Shuttleworth. In keeping with our current policy, this report is showing up for a third time. And it goes to show that the rationale behind this report being that reports don't have to come so often for us to approve. Seeing as how we've discussed it at length at Committee of the Whole and at the last board meeting, The only thing I have to add is that some changes were made to the appendix, so that language was clearer. Thank you to Trustee Bryden for providing that feedback. Other than that, the report remains the same. And if anyone would like to ask any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, I'll put the motion on the floor and then open it up for discussion and debate. So be it resolved that the Halton District School Board adopt the attached Appendix C, reports requiring 2 presentations of the board governance bylaw effective immediately, and that all prior versions be revoked. Vice Chair Rocha, would you like to make this motion?
Absolutely.
And Trustee Bryden, would you like to second that?
I would.
Thank you. Are there any questions or debate? Seeing none, I will ask if there are any objections to passing this report. Seeing none, that motion passes by unanimous consent. Thank you very much, everyone. We're now up to item 4.2.2, appointments to committees and other roles revised, report number 23153. Submitted by Trustee Collard, and I'll pass it over to her to explain before I read the motion.
Oh, thank you very much. As was presented at the last board meeting, the change that caused the revision was that we also wish to rename the policy so that it matches the governance procedure. Nothing else has changed since our last meeting, and so if there are any questions, please let me know.
Okay, wonderful. I'll read the motion and then open the floor. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees adopt the appointments to committees and other roles governance procedure with the recommendations listed in report number 23153, and that all prior versions be revoked. Be it resolved that the committee and appointments policy be renamed appointments to committees and other roles policy. Trustee Collard, would you like to put that motion on the floor?
Yes, thank you.
And Trustee Baxter, would you like to second that?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or debate? Seeing none, are there any objections to this motion? Once again, seeing none, that passes by unanimous consent. Thank you very much, everyone. That brings us up to item 5.0, which is communication to the board. And for information this evening, we have the school renaming request annual report, which is report number 23161, which was submitted by myself. And all I have to say is that for this past academic year, we have had 0 requests for any schools to be renamed. So it's somewhat of a nil report, but I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention so they're aware of where we stand. Does anybody have any questions regarding this report? Wonderful. Seeing none, that brings us on to notices of motion, of which there are none, and that brings us now to our director's report, and I will pass it over to Director Ennis.
Thank you so much, Chair Shuttleworth. And before I go any further, there is one item that I'd like us to turn over to you in terms of our in memoriam.
Okay, thank you very much. So I was notified earlier in the week by the son of a previous trustee at our board that David Coons, who was a trustee and chair of our board, passed peacefully on October 22nd of 2023, surrounded by his family at the Carpenter Hospice. Dave loved his community and strived to make a difference for others. He served in many community-oriented roles, including councillor and deputy reeve for the town of Burlington and Halton County Council from 1970 to 1974, and was re-elected as councillor for the city of Burlington from 1974 to 1978. Dave was the past president of the Burlington Chamber of Commerce and held the position of chair and trustee of the Halton District School Board from 1985 to 1993. In these roles, Dave was influential in bringing musical instruments, which was his passion, into the classroom. And if we could please just take a moment of silence to remember him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair Shuttleworth. And the first item I have up is the HDSB post-secondary exploration event. And I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Frankovich, who will give us the highlights.
Thank you to all trustees. We were excited last week that Sheridan partnered with our school programs department in hosting 4,800 high school students from our board for the inaugural in-person HDSB post-secondary exploration event. So on October 24th through 26th, we had our grade 12 and grade 12 plus students with the opportunity to engage with institutions and organizations from all post-secondary pathways, including apprenticeship, college, community, university, and workplace. We had over 50 organizations and institutions join us at the event. Event also extended into the evening on the October 25th night to welcome thousands more grade 11 to 12 and 12 plus students and their families with a post-secondary fair and workshop called Preparing for Post-Secondary. The event was a huge success. Thank you to trustees who were able to come by and join in our first event. And we'd like to give a special shout out to one of our instructional program leaders, Lisa Galley, who was instrumental in the success and quite a nice partnership established with Sheridan.
Thanks so much, Superintendent Frankovich. So we have more teachers being recognized, not just here in the boardroom, but nationally as well. Thomas Douglas, a teacher at Garth Webb, recently received a national award from the Canadian Tooling and Machining Association. And it's called the CEMTA Trades Ambassador of the Year. This award is presented to an individual who mentors and shares their knowledge with the younger apprentices. So we say congratulations to Thomas for a job well done. Also, to update you more on staff, we recognize Sarah Lowe, teacher at Pilgrim Wood, who has been just a leader in environmental leadership. And I've had the opportunity to meet personally with Sarah, along with Superintendent Flahat, Superintendent Godet, and many other staff who continue to do an outstanding job. We have some outstanding leaders in the environment in our board. And so I want to say congratulations to Sarah for being chosen as the Learning for a Sustainable Future recipient. So look forward to seeing more work from Sarah and the work that she's going to do along with our committee. Also on the theme of environmental leadership further, we have a new manager. Yay. So we're excited about that. I know that Superintendent Godet and Superintendent Flahat searched far and wide, and they went through an extensive search. And we're just over the moon. I don't know, Superintendent Godet or Flahat, do you want to say anything? Because I'm excited more than you are.
Happy to, and through the chair to the trustees, we're thrilled that we were able to find an incredible candidate from our own board here. So we were able to hire Rachel Irwin as our new environmental manager for leadership and sustainability. Rachel has done incredible things on our board, including the programs. She fully developed Nature's Near and the Neighborhood Eco Rangers program, which cultivates environmental stewardship through collaborative outdoor education programs. And the other great thing is that Rachel is actually a graduate of our school board here at the HDSB. So we're thrilled. She started this week. We've been working on a plan, and we'll be able to share some of that with you later on. We're super, super excited about moving forward with this work.
Thank you so much. And to recognize further recognition, it's a lot of HDSB recognition this week. We have the HDSB Communications and Engagement Department. They went to the Case Bravo Awards, CACE, and we got 3. We walked away with 3 of the 4 submissions that we made. So award of distinction for the communications project, bringing the HDSB multi-year plan to life. Of course, our team has done an outstanding job in this regard. And so no doubt they won, and so we're grateful for that. And of course, the Coup de Coeur Award for the story Garth Webb's Celebrate Iftar. That story illustrated equity and inclusion, of course, part of our multi-year plan. And so we're grateful for that submission. And another award, get the HDSB director to do your job. I wasn't at the award, but a friend of mine was and sent me a picture of they posted a clip and they sent me a little still of myself at the award ceremony. So I was like surprised to see that. But great job by all involved, our communications and engagement team. We have one of the best, and so we're just grateful for the work they're doing, highlighting all the wonderful things happening in the HDSB. So congratulations. Help me to congratulate them, please. Wonderful, wonderful job. And so I don't think we should have applauded tonight. I think it's against the rules, Chair Shuttleworth. but we have so much to celebrate, and that concludes my report. All great news.
Thank you very much, Director Ennis. And again, I congratulate all of the staff that have received and achieved those awards this evening. It's so wonderful. And also, again, Director Ennis, when you were talking about the still of you, I think back to the student trustees report and the use of AI, and I'm wondering if they somehow use that to get you there.
Oh, that could be, yes.
All right, thanks everyone. So as you can see under item 5.4 from the communication from the chair, there are several letters that are attached to the agenda this evening. Are there any reports from committees this evening? This is record-breaking time, everyone. Oh, Trustee Collard, sorry, I thought you were just smiling and saying, no, nothing.
Well, I do have a couple of reports in the package, and so hopefully you've all had a chance to take a look and see how much work was accomplished in the past year. But I did want to remind trustees that there is currently out there waiting for your responses, a survey regarding the work being done by the working group on the delegations. So far, I've heard from 7 trustees. I need to hear from 11 trustees because I need to know, setting the path forward, that we are going in the right direction or that we need to do a big 180. And so I can't do that if I don't hear from you. You know who you are. I don't. Please respond to the survey. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Collard. And PD?
It's there.
It's both of them? Okay, so you've just, it's
Yeah.
there. You could look at it if you need to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I will now turn it to check with Trustee Danielle and Trustee Gray. Are there any updates from OBSPA?
Yes, I would just like to, again, welcome everyone to the Central West meetings taking place in Waterloo on the weekend from 9 to 2 p.m. In addition to that, I circulated a document, a Google document today, seeking your input for the presentation that we would be making on behalf of the Halton Board at those meetings. So if you have a chance, please populate that template for us. And looking forward to seeing those of you who can make it on Saturday in Waterloo.
If I may just follow up on that, even if you have not attended, and for those who are not able to attend, have already let me know. I do appreciate that. But even if you have not RSVP'd, there is definitely space for you. Please consider coming. Breakfast, lunch, Central West meeting, as well as PD on board self-assessment. And I believe the Waterloo Regional Board has also got swag too. So, whatever I can do to entice more trustees out on a Saturday, I would hope to. It's a great learning experience and a wonderful chance. We only do it once a year where we have a joint meeting with the Western region. So it's about 14 school boards all coming together to network and learn from each other. So highly encourage you if you are able to make it.
Thank you very much. Swag. That brings us up to trustee questions and comments. Are there any trustee comments or questions for this evening? Trustee Gray.
Thank you very much. I just want to take a moment tonight to perhaps highlight and make tribute to all of the volunteers in the Halton District School Board who give up their time so willingly to ensure that we have a very fulsome extracurricular activity going on in our schools. And it's so nice to have it return after a couple of years of absence. It's also been brought to my attention that tomorrow the Halton District School Board has the honor of beginning the 3-day hosting of an all-provincial championship in girls field hockey. And these games are being hosted at different sites around the Halton District School Board, those sites that have artificial turf. And I know one site in particular that I will be visiting for the next 2 days is over at Hayden. The games begin at 8:30 tomorrow morning for anyone that has time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Gray. Any other further questions? Seeing none, I will just tell you that our agenda is now exhausted and our meeting is adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming tonight.